What's going on YouTube? Thanks for tuning in to Squad TV Canada. I'm Donnie D and I'm going to show you how to build some coils. That's right, today we're going to talk about the triple twisted 26 gauge coil. It's a fantastic vape. We're going to load it into the .RDA and see how she vapes. So everybody, let's get to building. Hey everybody, so let's talk coils today. So last time we talked about the macro coil, so it's just a simple build, minimal tools required to do this. Today we're going to step it up a notch. We're going to take that single strand of wire and we're going to twist it up 3 times. That's right, 3 wires twisted together to make yourself a twisted coil. It's a fantastic vape, very simple to do, beginner class for sure. So without further ado, let's head on down to the build mat and I'll show you what tools we're going to be using for today. We got some nice wire cutters here, some ceramic tip tweezers, some scissors for our cotton. Dot Mod was kind enough to give us the dot key to use with the .RDA. I'll show you that a little bit later on. An ohm meter for safety, a pair of pliers, and some tweezers here to fluff our cotton. This particular build requires another tool right here, a drill. And you can tighten up that twisted wire with a pair of pliers, but what I'm probably going to be doing today is using a second vise. I find that it clamps down on that wire a little nicer and I can get a better twist out of it. So either way, irrelevant, both work perfectly fine. So without further ado, let's get to this build, folks. Okay, let's get everything sort of cleared out of the way for now so we have a place to work. Keep this, and as I said, there's our 26 gauge wire. So what you're going to want to do is cut 3 lengths of this wire. We'll say maybe about a foot or so long each one, because you're going to make a dual coil here today. So there's 1, 2, and 3. Just like that. So in order to make a twisted wire, you can't just take these 3 wires, stick them in your drill, and twist away. You need to pre-straighten the wire out first. So let's flip you on back to FaceTime and I'll show you exactly how I'm going to do that. So there's my drill here, squad. So you want to loosen the chuck a little bit, and we'll take one of these wires, and what we're going to do is, if you can take a look at this wire here, I'm going to bend it just a little bit like that. I'm going to put a little kink in it. And then I'm going to put that wire directly into my drill in between those teeth. The reason why I bend it is so that it just gives it a little bit more something to grab onto. So I've got the wire directly in the center of my drill here. I'll clamp down nice and tight, and then we'll grab the pliers and we'll give her a twist. Okay, squad, so as you see, we've got the wire right here inside of the drill. So the next step is to grab your wire. I generally run it all the way down like this with my hand and clamp it at the other end with the pliers. Okay, and then I pull nice and tight. You want to make sure this wire is tight. You want to have a really good clamp on this end here. I generally clap or twist in a counterclockwise manner. So in order to get the tightest possible twist, I like to straighten in a clockwise manner. So here we go. 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds tops. drill slow down, and you have a nice poker straight piece of wire. Before I released my pliers here, I grabbed the other end here with my fingers, and as you can see, poker straight. So we're going to do this 2 more times, so that way we'll have 3 strands of wire. So let's get to it. So there you go, squad. 3 very straight wires. So it's going to be easy to twist those up into something that's, you know, very vapeable and very twisted, tightly twisted. So let's get on to the twisting. Okay, squad. So here you see you have the you got 3 jaws in the drill. So it works perfectly for doing a triple twisted wire. And if you remember when I straightened this wire out, I had put 3 different bends in here. So it was good at the beginning to help grip onto the wire, and it's also good now. So you want to make these in sort of a triangular shape to match the jaws of the drill. Make sure they're relatively flat, and install them into your drill like so. You want them in the center, and this way with the 3 different bends here, you can have even pressure on all 3 wires. Just like so, okay? And then clamp down. Nice and tight. So as you can see, it's right in the center, okay? So as I said earlier, I'm going to be using a vise in order to clamp down on these wires. You can just as well use a pair of pliers. It's no different. I just prefer a vise just for the sake of really gripping tightly on the wire. So I run my fingers down the wire like this. As you can see, I've got 3 different lengths. Take your trusty wire snippers here and just snip them so they're even. Bada bing, bada boom. And then in my particular case, I'm going to place these into the vise. So I use about maybe a 1/2 inch or an inch. I put them on a little bit of an angle, and then I clamp down super tight with the vise. Okay, and then I can focus solely on how the wire looks while it's twisting. So you want them to be relatively even, and then you're ready to go. We'll do an up-close shot of this just so you guys can see the twisting in action. So let's get to it. Okay, squad, so we're going to give her a twist and see how it goes. Mom's gonna fix it all soon. Mom's coming round to put it back the way it ought to be. So as you saw right there, the wire snapped off, but that's okay because that just means it's basically as tight as you're going to get it. But if you can see here, it's nice and straight, and those twists are very tight together and even. I'll show you some up-close macro shots of that just so you guys have a really good idea of what we're looking at here. So this is what you're going for, squad, when you're making a twisted wire. You want your twists to be even, you want them to be nice and tight, really, really tight together, so that you have something that's got lots of channels for the juice to travel down. So you don't want those loose twists, those janky looking twists. You want it to be tight, 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 just like that. So now that we got our twisted wire right here, we need to turn these into some coils. So same principles as before, nothing has changed. I'm going to cut this in half, however, or maybe not quite in half, but I'm going to go here. I'm going to make 2 smaller pieces of wire. Just something a little easier to work with. I'm going to twist these guys up into coils. So, as I usually do, I always coil towards myself. I find it fits better on the RDA for wicking purposes. So yeah, twist. Keep them nice and tight together so that they're tight right off the hop. It's just easier later on when installing. So that's 3, 4, and 5. So we'll go 5 wraps on this wire right here. And it should give us a pretty good vape. So we'll do a second one. We're doing this around a 2.5 millimeter diameter. So 1, and our second, third, 4th, and 5th. Just like that. And then we'll give these guys a little trim. Chop off this extra. A little bit of lead work there, but there you go. You've got 2 twisted coils. So let's install them onto our dot mod RDA here and give her a vape, see how she goes. So let's take a second and talk about the dot RDA. This is the purple edition. Pull the top cap off and you have this unique single post system in here. It's a nice vape. There's just a bunch of springs in here and whatnot. You simply just turn this little dial at the top here and it tightens down your single post on your RDA. Gives you a really good solid connection on there, so I really like it. The dot mod gives you this dot key right here in order to tighten and loosen your center post. You just put it in the slot, just give her a twist. I usually finish it off with twisting with my fingers or at the top. So yeah, it loosens it up real nice, and you can install your coil. So not too shabby. It's a true single post RDA. It's great. The squonk pin, when you put the squonk pin in, it actually squirts juice up through the top here. And I've never tried it squonking yet. I'm not the biggest squonker out there, so but that's just my preference anyway. So all right, let's install these bad boys and take her for a rip.
Stop in my mind.
can't stay here.
So there you have it. That's our dual twisted coil, 26 gauge, 3 wires twisted together right here on the Dot RDA. Fantastic little build, pretty easy to do, and loads and loads of flavor. So vaping on some Doc Reserve Doncaster right now. Delicious stuff. Loads of clouds, tons of flavor. Let's see how she does on a mech, a tube. I'm lucky enough to be the owner of the purple Dot. I believe it's a Petri. So we'll install this on here like so. Make sure we're all lined up. Put some juice on here. See how she vapes. The final ohm reading for this was 0.16. Perfect. Boatloads of flavor. Great on a mech. And yeah, can't thank this build enough. Changed how my building has gone from when I first started to where I am now. I do a lot of twisted builds. I find they're very fun to build. You can twist Claptons, you can helix these. I'll show you how to do that in another video. We'll get a twisted wire, and those little grooves that you saw in the twisted wire itself, we put wire in the middle of those little grooves, so it adds in even more flavorful dynamic to the coil. I think it changes it too much, but it does add a few more channels for the juice to travel in, and it looks pretty freaking cool for coil shots. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So, you know, be safe out there, vapors. Hope you enjoyed this. Hope it helped you out a little bit, and look forward to the next time we meet here on Squad TV Canada. So for now, let's keep those drills turning, and have yourselves a cloudy day.